So here we have Judge Dredd from Mezco, and I've been a fan of Judge Dredd since the mid-'80s when they started producing comic books or releasing the original Judge Dredd comics in the United States. You can see I have 5 books back here. Now I actually have more than that, but this is part of my collection. What I didn't realize until later was that the original Judge Dredd comic books were actually in black and white, not in color. They added color for the US version, and I think they actually look better in the original black and white. So this figure obviously has a cloth costume, and he's got a gun in his holster on the one side, and then on the other side a knife. And this figure uses a lot of one of the things I talk about a lot and I really enjoy, which is magnets. So his shoulder pads are both held on by magnets. This one's kind of amusing because these are really strong magnets too, because you could see so obviously the magnets in there. So it's kind of funny. And his badge is also held on by a magnet. So he's got quite a few magnets. Everything is plastic. I believe even the zipper is plastic. I'm not going to, well, you can see how strong that magnet is. I'm not going to use the zipper because I did have a little bit of problem with it when I first got it. It became detached and then I had to kind of put it back together. So now I prefer not to touch it. I don't want to damage this, but it does zip all the way down. He's got a belt that's a separate piece, something that hangs off of here. I think maybe a baton, and then I think maybe handcuffs. Here's the figure on Amazon, and you can see the different items he has. I think that's maybe a baton bound down there, and some handcuffs, and alternate gloves. A few different items. You can see that this figure is actually a different color. This one's darker. Mine is more of a blue. What I have is the Cursed Earth version. And the Cursed Earth version is different in that it comes with a cloak that he can wear. I don't have him wearing the cloak for a couple of different reasons. Here's him with the cloak on. This is, it doesn't say Cursed Earth version, but that appears to be the Cursed Earth version. That cloak is, okay, so you can see that that's the same color as mine. The cloak is just plastic, and it doesn't look good in my opinion. In fact, it completely covers up his costume. And you can see that whoever set this up removed his badge and then placed it over top using the magnet. So that's kind of a neat way to do it. So like I said, somebody sold it for 150 bucks. It's not bad. So when years ago, I got rid of like 70% of 80% of my comics because I just had too many. But one of the series that unquestionably I was keeping was all my Judge Dredd comics, even though they're all reprints from the originals. I just love the stories so much. And I'll say something maybe a little bit controversial, but I would say that the first Judge Dredd movie was much better than the second one. And I know I'm in the vast minority in that respect, but for me as a Judge Dredd fan, I think the second movie absolutely failed to understand the character. And supposedly the people who put it together really cared about the character. But Judge Dredd, the stories are all about satire and parody. And that movie had no satire in it. It just didn't understand the character, in my opinion. And if you look at the character here, you could see the shoulder pads, the knee pads, the boots, the badge, everything is ridiculously oversized. It looks silly. They even toned down the helmet. Everything was toned down to give it a more realistic feel in the second movie. The first movie, for all its problems, at least was fairly true to the comics. It basically understood what Judge Dredd was, and used a lot of elements from the comics. I don't recognize hardly any elements in the second movie from the comics. And like I said, everything is toned down, from the size of Mega City 1 to his motorcycle. Was it the lawgiver or law something or other? I can't even remember now. Everything is toned down, and everything should be huge. That's the whole point of Judge Dredd. It is a parody of ultra violence, whereas the second Judge Dredd movie was simply ultra violent. And if you're not a Judge Dredd fan and you don't care about the character and you never read the comics, this second movie probably is a better movie. But as a Judge Dredd movie, I think it absolutely failed. Now this figure, I would say, really does capture the essence of the character. He's got you could see the scowl, even those little lightning bolts on his. There, you can see it kind of there on his helmet. It's a really good figure. Out of production now, so that's why, you're seeing all the ones being sold are third-party sellers. But everything looks good on it. I'm not sure if these knee pads are removable. I saw somebody on there actually selling separate knee pads for this, so I'm not going to try. And they look almost like they are removable, but I don't like to do stuff like that with these characters, because you'd have to stretch it all the way over his boot, and I'm not willing to do that. So that's the Judge Dredd figure.